Mana boy nga nyimbata mbe taki tubabu du boy boy nga nakodo mbe doku boy ngaki na nyinkendi moyo boy pura e bungolo nyi boro na bungo hani lento amam futaji boy de jibe lu njumala ya funye koy babun lola ama me ila bungo jibe abadane
jara foyte lafta fula nyi mam baluwo kanam
mum baluwo fo baluwo ko budlo ko fanan kele boy
nyim bungo jara be nyamende abe mu baluwo la do ko
nyin kunna soniata ta www.baluwo.com anim baluwo isela bulloran jorangol be sang anila kudula asatare mambata jorangol membu ko sementol kenyo babarol nil peruol woni nga nyon jamal ta baluwo.com yin jorangol be sang ila dinkira bado adungite batala je anim baluwo ifangole marate la kudula.
We can only urge government to be transparent. We can only urge government to be transparent because after all, it is in the interest of government to be transparent. I mean, if there are 500 cases of coronavirus, we should say so that our weak health system, health delivery system, can get support from those who are endowed with resources, both human and material, to come to our aid. But if you downplay it, it will cause havoc and will not get assistance from anywhere. I'm sure government will be responsible. Government will not really sweep anything under the carpet. They'll be very transparent. I think so. I have confidence in the Minister of Health, who is a professional, and his approach to these things will be very professional, very transparent. And that's what I believe in, and I think the government of the Gambia will certainly not do anything that will compromise the transparency that is needed in this matter.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen of the press, for your time and for the very insightful questions you asked. This press briefing has come to a close. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, members of the press, for responding to our invitation at a short notice to attend at this short but, in our view, important press briefing. Of course, we are faced with the ugly and frightening prospect of the coronavirus affecting the Gambia. Because of this, it behooves all of us to stand by and support the government of the Gambia in its efforts to contain this pandemic. We must all adhere to the preventive measures put in place by the relevant authorities. We as a party will work with the government of the Gambia to combat the spread of the pandemic. However, we wish to join the rest of the world to express our grave concern about the rapid spread of the coronavirus. With the declaration of the outbreak as a global pandemic last week by the World Health Organization, the Gambia needs a proactive, decisive, and forward-looking strategy to deal with this global menace. Although there has been no reported cases of coronavirus in the Gambia, we are aware that there are several cases reported in neighboring Senegal that has warranted the putting in place of strict public health measures such as closing of schools for at least 3 weeks. The UDP urges the government of Gambia to convene a meeting of stakeholders and set up a national emergency response team comprised of relevant government departments, local government authorities, and non-governmental organizations, public health partners in the country, assess our health infrastructure preparedness to address any potential outbreak, testing screen capacity, availability of protective medical supplies for frontline healthcare providers, continued public health awareness campaigns to educate the population on preventive measures and mitigate the spread of false information about the virus, ensure availability of water and hand washing stations at public places. Should there be any confirmed case or cases in the Gambia, at minimum, we need to implore the public to limit gatherings to decrease the risk of the spread of the virus in our communities. The consequences of this global pandemic is more than just a public health crisis. It has affected every sector of the world's economy as countries scramble to design stringent measures to contain the spread of the virus. The UDP encouraged the government to implement policies and measures to adequately prepare for the economic consequences of the pandemic. The economic fallout for the Gambia is likely to be severe and long-lasting due to our high debt burden and heavy dependence on foreign imports. Since the Gambia relies heavily on imported foods and other goods, the UDP is concerned about a potential food shortage and increase in prices of other commodities. We urge the government to have consultations with the business community and other relevant authorities to assess the potential impact on food importation, design measures to address any potential food shortage crisis, assess the financial impact on the Gambia Revenue Authority and tourism sector, and formulate appropriate policies to address all these potential fallouts. The United Democratic Party urges the media fraternity to partner with the government and civil society to ensure that education, awareness of coronavirus reaches the masses. Members of the public are advised to heed the messages shared by the Minister of Health, WHO, and other health professionals on curbing the spread of the virus, such as proper hand washing with soap, avoiding close contact with sick individuals, and staying home and getting medical attention if not feeling well. The United Democratic Party, through our National Assembly members, mayors and chairmen of local government authorities, is ready to and will stand by and support the government of the Gambia with any interventions and measures to deal with the pandemic and alleviate its economic consequences. We cannot afford to get this one wrong. I have personally made arrangements for the installation by members of the youth wing of the party of 16 hand washing stations in the greater Banjul area to promote WHO's the Harsh Safe Hands Challenge. Believe this will go a long way in preventing the spread of the virus. As we call on all Gambians of faith to pray for the Gambia and the world at large for the Almighty to curb the spread of this deadly virus, the United Democratic Party seizes this opportunity to congratulate HE President Adama Barrow, President of the Gambia, for his decision to address the nation on this very important and crucial national issue this evening. Gentlemen and ladies of the press, I thank you for your attendance and hope that with your assistance, this message will be disseminated and reach the quarters that is supposed to reach. I thank you all for your attention.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Do you guys?
Gambia, being in the heart of Senegal, you cannot strictly say that the virus is not in the Gambia, because what is in the what is in Senegal certainly is in the Gambia. So what I would suggest, what I'm imploring the government to do, is to take the necessary measures to ensure that the spread of virus is contained, that we have enough screening centers, and in fact that's why I've called on the assessment of our health infrastructure so as to determine the level of our preparedness to deal with any reported cases. And I hope that the authorities will not conceal any case that is proven that is proved to be in the Gambia.
Yes, sir.
Honorable, I am Nestor Pujabi from West Coast Radio. My follow-up question would be, in relation to the government opening the borders of Gambia and Senegal.
Ordinarily, the borders between the Gambia and Senegal should be open for 24 hours. But then, when circumstances demand that we should really be strict in receiving people from affected areas, because that is one of the ways that we can prevent and contain the spread of the virus. I mean, that will not be an act that will be undermining good neighborliness. In fact, it will be protecting both countries, because if the Gambia and Senegal, they become affected, and one of them is not in a better position to contain and combat the virus, the likelihood of it spreading back into Senegal or in other can happen. So I would, if certainly the situation warrants it, I would support close of the border, and that will be for good reason.
Yes, madam.
Yes, my name is Vivian. Basically, it's also related to what you just said. People passing through the borders are really complaining about not having screening at the borders. What do you think should be done?
Well, now that it has become quite apparent to our authorities and everybody in the Gambia that the virus, the disease is just across the border, and we should really have screening facilities at all our entry points. It should just not be at the airport. We should have it at Karang, we should have it at Siliti, we should have it at Ayib, we should have it in Basel, Wellingar area, Senoba. We should have it at all these entry points. The unfortunate thing is that our borders are so porous that you can enter into the Gambia, not through the recognized entry point, and that makes our own situation a little bit difficult. But nonetheless, the majority of those who come to the Gambia from outside pass through one of these border entry points. So we would suggest to the government that it should really put up screening facilities in these places. Not only that, but also quarantine, facilities to quarantine any person found to be coronavirus positive.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm Lamin Kante from iAfrica TV. If your statement is anything to go by, I believe I heard you say, in case if there is any
Case.
Any confirmed case, let the government declare, at least let the government declare for public gathering to be minimized. Do you think we, as a country, we have to wait till such a scenario by, for instance, in Senegal, Gambia being covered by Senegal in all its three parts, already delivered, already ozone, meaning we are already in Senegal. You said whatever Senegal faces, it's like Gambia also face the same thing. Don't you think the government also should declare some of these things like close of schools, temporary close of schools, public gathering, among others, as business is going as usual in the country.
Well, yes, that would be one of the preventive measures that should be taken. And of course, the president is addressing the nation this evening. And I believe we should wait to hear, what is going to be the content of his address to the nation. You are right, one doesn't have to wait for confirmed cases. For me, confirmation of case in Senegal is sufficient for the Gambia because of the geographical location of the two countries. And this is the reason why the United Democratic Party did not wait for any government decision to suspend or to order for gatherings, not to be held. So that's why we decided to suspend all our political activities. We will not have, even at the level of the bureaus, we will not have gatherings of more than 20 people, even in our bureaus. We prohibit that. So we have taken that initiative, and I hope also that the government will support our initiative by making declaration, because we have no control over any dairas that may want to organize their Gambia. We have no control over them. We have no control over any group of people who might want to stage some kind of activity that will attract crowd. We have no control over them. We have only control, and when you say control, it's not coercive control. It's being in charge. We cannot have that over our party, the United Democratic Party. That is why we issued a statement advising that all our political activities should be suspended. Those who have control over dairas, can, issue a similar statement. The Syrians, they tell their Taliban that, look, hold on until we know the situation, until we are in a position that we can really prevent the spread of this disease, even if crowds gather. So that is my answer to your question. I hope that is satisfactory.
Follow-up question from the lady.
You as a political party has been virus. What other advice do you have for other political parties?
No, again, as I say, I don't want to be presumptuous, to advise any political party what to do. We have taken these decisions, and we are doing things because we feel that this is the right thing to do, and I want to believe that all other political parties will also decide to do things that they think is right, in the current circumstances. But I believe that I want to convince myself that no political party will encourage huge gatherings at this time. I want to convince myself about that.
Follow up. So far, what you personally do, what you've been hearing in relation to government stand on this particular disease or pandemic per se, do you think Gambia is on the right footing to face in case if we have any victim of such?
Well, I'm not too sure whether we are as properly equipped as other countries. That is why I'm making the appeal to the government to have an assessment of our health infrastructures. on our preparedness, on our ability to handle the situation. I am sure there is the will. I'm sure there is the will to really contain this pandemic. What I'm not too sure of is whether, we have the wherewithal. I've not read the story, but I see that one of the headlines, I think in the Standard, that $60 billion is received to help the government's economy on the virus. I've not yet read the story, because sometimes the headline doesn't match, the stories don't match the headlines. So, but then there is that, yes.
My final question. Yesterday, the Minister of Finance have said that the country will at least lose nothing less than $1 billion, which from revenue, which one will believe that it is going to really affect the country's economy. As someone who have been in such high position, what would you advise the government to do?
Well, I would advise that there be a proper assessment, because that's what we have said, that we want to assess the impact of this, because it's not just a public health crisis, it is also an economic crisis.
Yes.
We want to have a proper assessment, because the minister has stated this, but then maybe with a more profound and deeper assessment, probably the figures might not be what he has said. But then we can be sure that it's going to have a negative impact on our economy. That is why I'm saying that, look, let us get consultations with the business community, so that we do not face food shortages. We want to make sure that what we have imported, that there's no export of that. Because if your source, you can no longer import from your source, and what you have here, you want to make profit out of it by exporting it to other countries, you really will be creating a food crisis in the country. So I think these are some of the measures that I think the government should put in place. Have consultations with the business community, that whatever stock of food items we have in this country, none should be exported, all should remain in this country. Yeah. We should do that.
Omar of the Standard. It's not Omar Wali, huh?
I know.
Yeah.
In your speech, you did mention about the legal plans, of course, to help government in coping with the pandemic. But one we want to know how we intend to do this, because people will jump to conclusion that this is a tactic for political gains. How do you intend to do that?
A tactic to?
Political gains.
How do you intend to help government fighting this? And the final one, let me just make one. Your opinion, how do you think it will be crucial for the government? How crucial will it be for government to be transparent and honest in terms of reporting cases when they do?
Well, let's first start with that the negative content of your question. This might be taken as a political scoring political point. Chairman of the council will stand by the government in their intervention, help them implement whatever measures they want to take in their intervention. If we wanted to political and one government, we will sit back and say we are not going to cooperate with the government. So I think those people, who really think that when a politician says certain things, he does so with objective of scoring a political point or gaining political dividend, I think that we should really be disabusing our mindset. That this is the time that we should all be thinking positive. We have called on everybody to support the government, and this is what we are doing. And what we as a party, I have just told you that I personally have provided opportunities for 16 hand washing stations to be opened throughout the greater Banjul area. That is what we are doing for the now. And what we are going to do for the provinces, we will do that. And we are going to be part of the awareness campaign, hand washing. Of course, you go to, what is this place? It's not Grief. You go to, is it not Fantundu? Bantundi. You go to Bantundi, there are no taps. There are no taps in Bantundi. How do the people in Bantundi, how should they be really adhering or carrying out these health instructions that we are told? Yeah? Of course, we all don't have to wash our hands in the same basin as we do. That's a tradition. When we eat, there's this, we all wash our hands there. In fact, they ask the kids, the smaller ones, to do it last. The elderly people do it first. But these are things that will tell people of Bantundi that they shouldn't do. Yeah? Go to your cup, get your cup, but we are going to ask our local government authorities to embark on that awareness campaign to help the government in it, because this is a matter that affects each and every one of us. The coronavirus. The coronavirus will not do a distinction between United Democratic Party supporter, NPPP, GDP, or whatever. It will not. So let us disabuse our minds of the fact that when politicians say things, they're doing so for political gain. You can easily detect that from statements. These are I don't think there's anything here that would suggest that we really want to play a political game. We're doing all these things pro patria. That's all.
The other part of this question.
We can only urge government to be transparent. We can only urge government to be transparent, because after all, it is in the interest of government to be transparent. If there are 500 cases of coronavirus, we should say so that our weak health delivery system can get support from those who are endowed with resources, both human and material, to come to our aid. But if you downplay it, it will cause havoc and will not get assistance from anywhere. I'm sure government will be responsible. Government will not really sweep anything under the carpet. They'll be very transparent. I think so. I have confidence in the Minister of Health, who is a professional, and his approach to these things will be very professional, very transparent. And that's what I believe in, and I think the government of the Gambia will certainly not do anything that will compromise the transparency that is needed in this matter.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen of the press, for your time and for the very insightful questions you asked. This press briefing has come to a close. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
man kontaan boy manake boy nga nyim bata mbe taki tubabu du boy nga nakko do mbe doku boy ngaki na nyin kenni moy boy pura e bungolo nyi boro na bungo hani lento am futaji boy de jibe lu njumale ya fanya koy babun lola ama me ila bungo jibe abadane
jara foyta la la ñi mam baluwo kalam
mu baluwo fo baluwo ko budlo ko fanan kele boy
ñim bu nga jala be ñamen tek abe mu baluwo la do ko
ñin kunne soniyata ta www.baluwo.com anin baluwo isela bulloran jorangol be sang anila kudola asatare mambata jorangol membu ko simetol kenyo babarol nil peruol woni nga nyon jamal ta baluwo.com yin jorangol be sang ila dinkira bado adungi te batala je anin baluwo ifangole marate la kudola
France 24. Every art form.
Liberté, égalité, actualité.
Any point in getting up early. The only reason to do so is to check the latest number of new infections right after waking up.
Have you seen the figures? There are almost 45,000 confirmed cases of the illness.
I came to work in China as a journalist in 2007 and got married to Lulu from Beijing. We have one son and live in a housing complex in the north of the city. I travel around China a lot making reports, but now I've been grounded.
Only Tibet is still okay.
Cordons have been erected around cities, but also around entire provinces, as well as city districts and even every housing complex. Outside my neighborhood block, uniformed men check everyone's comings and goings. The neighborhood committees are important cogs in the Communist Party's security apparatus, there to monitor residents' political and social behavior. Now they're functioning as health police. Temperature checks, enforced quarantines upon leaving the city, mandatory face masks. Beijing's residents have bit by bit disappeared from the face of the city, their movements curtailed by the regime and their own fear. The only report that I can make is one about standstill, a quarantine diary. The days seem uneventful, but they raise many questions about China's future. There's one good thing about the situation. Now that our family is together 24/7, we're more united than ever. I've even persuaded my son to help me. We have to fetch water. The tap water is undrinkable, so water containers are delivered on most days. But since our district was cordoned off, we have to collect them ourselves. My son is lucky because the barricade isn't very high. Since the outbreak of the virus, Lulu and I have been wearing his and hers fashion accessories, face masks. Mine black, hers white. Lulu is unhappy she can no longer wear lipstick. But since the quarantine started, the wearing of face masks has been strongly advised. Basically, if you leave the apartment without one, you'll be stopped. The remaining entry point to our district has become a checkpoint. You need a special pass to get in and out, and it's checked every time. Permission can be refused at any time. You might think it's 5 p.m. on a Sunday afternoon, but in fact, it's Friday afternoon. Normally, people would be going shopping now, and Beijing would look like this. It's nice to have a bit more space, but we're feeling a bit lonely. And what makes things worse is getting our temperature measured every 300 meters. But is it really such a good idea to be pressing these devices onto dozens of different people's wrists? The mall is almost empty too. Usually we have to wait half an hour to get a coffee, but people don't feel like going out. At least there are a few young guys playing basketball, bringing a bit of life to the place. But I'm surprised they aren't wearing masks. At the moment, there's still disinfectant to clean our hands. But for how much longer? At the supermarket entrance, another checkpoint. At least there's a bit more life here. Since being in quarantine, cooking has become our main activity. The sight of these supermarket shelves is almost comforting, but only almost. We've all seen the images of empty shelves in the city of Wuhan on social media. The situation at the epicenter of the outbreak, where thousands are sick, is ever present. It's feeding a sense of collective anxiety. That's even though our situation is nothing like the one in Wuhan. In Beijing, there are only 100 official coronavirus cases. The capital is hermetically sealed off nonetheless. In the subway, I'm meeting Ms. Lee, my interpreter. Before I even say hello, I already know her skin temperature, 32.1 degrees Celsius. All subway entrances are now fitted with infrared cameras. If your temperature tops 37.3 degrees, you're isolated behind a barricade and sent to the hospital. And of course, there's also someone checking for face masks in the subway. Not that there's much to check. Normally,